Now, if it feels like you live with your partner, but you don't really feel close anymore, if it feels like you share a house, but no real connection, like roommates instead of lovers, you're not crazy, and you're definitely not alone. Because this happens to a lot of couples. Sometimes it comes after something painful, and sometimes nothing dramatic has happened at all. But one day, you look at the relationship and think, how did we become this? Before I move on, my name is Chris Hodgson, and this is something I've seen happen to a lot of couples. Friends, people I've worked with, people who have come to me asking for advice about their own relationship, and some of them went through something difficult. Maybe trust got damaged. Maybe someone felt hurt. Maybe something happened that was never fully resolved. And other couples, nothing major happened at all. Life just slowly took over. But the end result often feels the same either way. One day you realize we don't flirt anymore. We don't touch the same way. We don't laugh the same way as we used to. Yes, we function, we exist, but we don't feel. And that quiet shift, that's what makes it confusing. Because from the outside, the relationship might still look completely normal, but on the inside, something very important is missing. Now, how did this even happen? This is the question most people avoid asking honestly. So, did a big moment change things? Did trust break somewhere along the way? Did something happen that was never really repaired? Did rejection happen in the bedroom? Maybe multiple times? Did resentment slowly build? Or did nothing dramatic actually happen at all? Did life just get busy? Did work take over? Did stress pile up? Did you both slowly stop trying? You see, roommate mode rarely appears overnight. It usually grows over time. Sometimes from one painful moment, sometimes from hundreds of small things. But if you're honest with yourself, you can usually trace where the shift started. Now, what you're actually feeling. When people say, we feel like roommates, what they actually mean is, I don't feel wanted anymore. I don't feel chosen. I don't feel desired. Or maybe even worse, I don't think they're excited about me anymore. Because it's not always anger. Sometimes it's just flat, predictable, comfortable, and comfort feels safe. But comfort alone doesn't create attraction. You see, attraction needs energy. It needs effort. It needs intention. Because when desire becomes one-sided, that slowly turns into that quiet resentment. Now, is there a desire problem? Because sometimes when couples feel like roommates, it often really is about desire fading. Now, have you stopped looking at each other the same way? Have you stopped wanting each other? Because sex isn't just physical. It's about feeling wanted, feeling chosen, feeling like your partner still sees you as a man or a woman, not just a teammate managing life. Now, when desire drops, everything just starts to feel flat. You stop reaching for them. You stop talking about them during the day. You stop anticipating touch. You see, flat becomes friendly, then friendly becomes polite, and polite starts to feel like roommates. Now, what happens in your brain? At the beginning of a relationship, everything feels intense. Oh, you're curious. You're excited. You don't fully know each other yet. That uncertainty creates tension in a good way. Your brain lights up because it's something new. But over time, everything becomes predictable. You know what they're going to say. You know what they're going to do. You see, comfort is great for stability. But if you don't create new experiences on purpose, that excitement quickly fades. Not because you stop caring, but because you stop feeding it. Comfort builds stability. But if it's not balanced with play, it slowly kills seduction. Now let's talk about the polarity shift. Here's another truth. Desire needs a little space. No drama, no chaos, but space, mystery, playfulness. When couples do everything together, they share everything, stop having separate lives, that tension disappears. You know, there's nothing new to discover, nothing to lean towards. Roommates share schedules. Love shares energy. And if your relationship slowly becomes mostly about bills, chores, kids, responsibilities, and logistics, of course the sparks faded. You didn't necessarily stop loving each other. You just slowly became managers of life, and managers rarely seduce each other. Now let's say you have some unresolved pain. Sometimes roommate mode doesn't come from boredom. Sometimes it comes from the pain that was never fully healed. Maybe someone cheated. Maybe trust was broken. Maybe someone said something that has really left a scar. And then the relationship technically continued, but emotionally changed. You see, one person might still be hurt. The other person might feel constantly judged. One person might stop opening up. The other might stop trusting. So instead of intimacy, you've slowly built these walls. And those walls quietly turned two people into roommates. Not because the love disappeared, but because the safety did. Now, if something painful did happen in the past, there's a difficult question that has to be asked, and asked honestly. Are you actually rebuilding, or are you just staying? Because sometimes people say they forgive something, but emotionally, internally, they can never let it go. So the relationship continues, but that closeness never fully comes back. And over time, distance becomes a new normal. If you're holding on to pain, or if they are, that has to be addressed, because that unresolved hurt quietly kills all of that intimacy. Now, here's a simple but powerful question. Have you actually said something? Or have you kept it inside? Have you said, I miss you. I miss how it used to be. I miss how you looked at me. Because silence feels easier, right? But silence slowly builds distance. You can't repair something that nobody is willing to name. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a good look in the mirror. Before blaming your partner, ask yourself honestly, did my effort drop? Did I stop flirting? Did I stop planning things? Did I stop trying to attract them? Did I get too comfortable? Because most of the time, this isn't just one person's fault. It's something both people slowly contributed to. And if you can't admit your part or your role, then you can't change it. Now, what's really missing? Ask yourself honestly, is it sex or is it desire? Is it connection or is it attraction? When was the last time you went somewhere new together? Put your phones away, touched each other, just because. Said something playful. Because spark rarely dies overnight. It fades slowly when it's ignored. Now let's talk about something else some people really don't like to admit, but is very, very common. Are you sleeping in separate beds? Separate rooms? Honestly, sometimes there's a real reason. Snoring, different schedules, restless sleepers. Because, trust me, we know sleep matters, but sleeping next to someone also builds closeness. You fall asleep touching. You wake up near each other. There are small moments of connection. When that disappears completely, it can really start to feel like you're actually roommates. Because roommates sleep in separate rooms. Lovers usually do not. And if you do sleep apart, you have to replace that closeness intentionally. Meaning, you have to do more touch, more affection, more connection. Because distance grows when proximity disappears. Now, can it change? Yes, but only if both people care. This kind of shift doesn't fix itself. It changes when both people say, you know what, this isn't enough. And then they actually do something about it. That might mean real date nights, trying new experiences, talking honestly about sex, bringing that playfulness back, or having those uncomfortable conversations that were avoided before. Listen, it might feel awkward at first, and that's normal. Awkwardness means you're actually trying again. But if you've tried, if you've talked, if you've made the effort, and nothing moves, then you have to ask yourself the difficult question. Can I live like this long term? Because roommate mode doesn't explode, it just slowly numbs you. And numb is kind of dangerous, because eventually you stop missing what the relationship used to feel like. And I'm going to leave you with this. Feeling like roommates doesn't always mean the relationship is over, okay? Sometimes desire just hasn't been fed. Sometimes effort has just slowed down. And sometimes life has just got in the way. And sometimes two people slowly drifted into that friendship instead of passion. But if something important is missing, ignoring it won't fix it. You have to face it. So talk about it and decide whether both of you are willing to rebuild something better. Because comfort is easy, but real connection takes intention. Now, if this video made you uncomfortable at any point, I'm going to say that's a good thing. That probably means something here deserves attention. Don't ignore that feeling. Have the conversation, look in the mirror, and decide what kind of relationship you actually want. Because most couples don't break up in just one moment. They slowly drift apart over time. And the drift can feel harmless until one day it's just too late. Thank you guys. I'm Chris Hodgson, and I'll see you next time.